Good morning. Yes, I'm in my pajamas because I had a thunk this morning and I thought I should probably keep it and share it with you before I do other things that I have to do today. One of the things I did notice was that Andrew Jackson, one of the presidentes of the US of AAs, he's the guy on the $20 US bill, he was the president, the people's president rather. And yeah, fair enough, he did good stuff practically, but I think he missed out on some homework. I don't think he liked homework. I think he was more of a practical fella. And a little look at some of the social divides from antiquity to Jackson's time and a little bit to now. The reason for this is I was in Nashville just before Christmas 2025 and I thought I've got some time, let's do some learning on my own. And there was the Hermitage just outside of Nashville. So I went, okay, I'm going to go there, check it out. Paid the ticket to get in, watched a video about Andrew Jackson. Went out, I ran through the halls of the museum because I really wanted to see the architecture that was there, the architecture from his house, which was very grand, even by nowadays standards. It's the fancy house. House is lovely, 2-story with this this Greek revival inspired bit to it. And then of course you go outside and you go, all right, the kitchen's a separate building, all right. The main servants' quarters is about 300 meters from the house. And then over there, about a 10-minute walk, is the rest of the servants' quarters. I say servants' quarters because that's where the slaves stayed. That's where they stayed. Oh, excuse me. That's where they stayed. And they're the people that helped look after the farms, created the wealth for Andrew Jackson to do whatever he needed to do, which was run around, advocate for the people. Because from the video I watched, his whole take was, it's not this against that. It's the average Joe against the aristocracy. We don't want them meddling in our business. And he was one of the fellas who put in a term for presidency. Like he says, you can be president, sure, but not forever. He put that into place. I think he also did something with the banks, which people were very, very happy about. Something with the banks, so the banks weren't so controlling of all the monies. This is back in whenever Andrew Jackson was alive. What I mentioned beforehand was, yeah, he was more of a doer than a learner. When Andrew Jackson was younger, it's seemingly well known here in the USA that he was put into school for Greek and Latin because his mother was hoping that he would be a Protestant minister. He was not. He wasn't. So he was exposed to Greek and Latin, and I think that helped form the ideas in his head to where he went ahead, or where he went on with life. Because being exposed to Greek and Latin, that's very good, but I don't think he did his homework on the full details. So the reason for him advocating for what he did, he admired the Greek democratic system. How everyone, we're going to vote on it, and if everyone's, or the majority, if they're cool with it, then we're going to go ahead with this piece of legislation. We're going to go with this decision because everyone, or a majority, voted for it. He liked that. And of course, if you're in Nashville, especially there, I think I noticed, because that's the main town I hang out in, if I do visit anywhere, you do see a lot of this Greek revival. And I think it was the folks there really admired that idea. You can see the columns and this and that. Oh, and also the White House. The White House has some big columns. And I went, I'm noticing architecture in my old age. So looking at all of that, I go, they admired it, but did they do their homework? I don't know. My next thunk here was, you see where the slaves are, how Andrew Jackson really advocated for the average man to say no to the aristos, but not the slaves, not the servants, because that would just ruin his income. But that would come later. We know it would come later and be fixed there. But I thought it was interesting how, if he's admiring the Greeks in this regard, are you aware of how the slaves were treated under the Greek regime? They were chattel. They were property. Yes, the Romans have slaves too, but there was a way out. Not an easy way, but there was a way out. Either being a very famous gladiator fighting for your freedom, or you give your main parts, the best part of your life, to the Roman legion fighting elsewhere. You came back and, okay, here you go. Here's some money. Here's a piece of land that you really want closer to home rather than off in England with these strangers. In England, the Celts are gonna get me, oh no. So, so going back to the Greek bit there, they were chattel, and the idea of telos from Aristotle, that aim of a thing, the purpose of a thing or something, like how a pig does what a pig does, because that's its purpose in life, is to roll around in mud and eat and oink oink. That's its purpose in life. But since these slaves, the Greek slaves anyway, they've been removed from their homeland. Their purpose is over there, but we've removed them. We're going to have them as our property, so it's our job in life to beat them, to make them work, to make them do whatever they want until they die. No way out. If you were slaves, and of course you're born to a person who was a slave, that's it. And I feel like with that exposure for Andrew Jackson, can I ask him? No, because he's kind of gone. Can't really ask him now. Nope. Could I ask him now? Ooh. you see where maybe he was had some blinders on with that, following the Greek or more Greek tradition of the idea of slavery in that regard. So it is something of the time, of course. I think as well, this is, if you grew up in Greek society, that was normal. And of course, Andrew Jackson being born into one of the southern states of the USA, this seemed normal. Now our new normal, God, I don't like using that. They had that in the pandemic period. Ugh. But of course, our new normal now. There still is somewhat a class divide. I think it's more of an undercurrent in the UK, and in the USA, it seems more like of an income divide, which I just don't know if that's not a good thing, nice thing. It's not very nice sometimes. I think there's that song with Fergie, if you ain't got no money, take your broke ass home. What if somebody has worked hard for a month or two and they want a break and they want to go to a nice restaurant, just have something a little nice, so they saved up for it. And I don't think that should be poo-pooed on. They budgeted for it too. Shouldn't be poo-pooed on, I don't think. Ought not to be poo-pooed on. Not very nice. But there is some still divide. It's certainly better from where it was back in antiquity, from Andrew Jackson's time, where we, as a human populace, I think are working on that. Because one of the things I do want to point out is there is still this divide. We can't see it as much over here on this side of the planet, though on the other side, I'm sure there is. Like, there's not slavery anymore. Now it's called contracts. I've got family off to the other side of the planet, in the Philippines, and I've heard about what contracts they sign. It's not a slavery thing. No, they're not being slaves. They're getting paid for their work, yes, but they work 9+ hours a day testing chips to make sure they're working to go up on the production line. Cousins that I've played with previously in the rice fields, they are off in a foreign country signing a contract that says, yes, I'll work for you. 1 day off every 2 weeks. They have to pay for their room and board. That comes out of their paycheck from the company that they're working for. So they must be fed by the company. They are housed by the company. And the little money they get left, they send back to the Philippines. What's that song? 16 Ton? Sound familiar? So yes, this social divide, you can really see it still in history, and in my opinion, it's still happening today. So I'm really hoping that as a populace, humanity, we can work on making just a better home for everyone. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.